Welcome to the last episode in this Get It Done Certified AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate SAA-C03 playlist. We'll finish with questions 141 through 150, followed by the correct answers and explanations. Question 141. A company uses AWS organizations to create dedicated AWS accounts for each business unit to manage each business unit's account independently upon request. The root email recipient missed a notification that was sent to the root user email address of one account. The company wants to ensure that all future notifications are not missed. Future notifications must be limited to account administrators. Which solution will meet these requirements? Option A. Configure the company's email server to forward notification email messages that are sent to the AWS account root user email address to all users in the organization. Option B. Configure all AWS account root user email addresses as distribution lists that go to a few administrators who can respond to alerts. Configure AWS account alternate contacts in the AWS organization's console or programmatically. Option C. Configure all AWS account root user email messages to be sent to one administrator who is responsible for monitoring alerts and forwarding those alerts to the appropriate groups. Option D. Configure all existing AWS accounts and all newly created accounts to use the same root user email address. Configure AWS account alternate contacts in the AWS organization's console. The correct answer is B. Configure all AWS account root user email addresses as distribution lists. Explanation. Distribution lists and alternate contacts ensure multiple admins receive notifications without relying on a single recipient. Why not option A? Forwarding root emails to all users too broad and unscalable. Why not option C? One admin forwarding manually not reliable or scalable. Why not option D? Same root email for all accounts not a best practice and creates confusion. Question 142. A company runs its e-commerce application on AWS. Every new order is published as a message in a RabbitMQ queue that runs on an Amazon EC2 instance in a single availability zone. These messages are processed by a different application that runs on a separate EC2 instance. This application stores the details in a PostgreSQL database on another EC2 instance. All the EC2 instances are in the same availability zone. The company needs to redesign its architecture to provide the highest availability with the least operational overhead. Option A. Migrate the queue to a redundant pair, active/standby, of RabbitMQ instances on Amazon MQ. Create a multi-AZ auto-scaling group for EC2 instances that host the application. Create another multi-AZ auto-scaling group for EC2 instances that host the PostgreSQL database. Option B. Migrate the queue to a redundant pair, active/standby, of RabbitMQ instances on Amazon MQ. Create a multi-AZ auto-scaling group for EC2 instances that host the application. Migrate the database to run on a multi-AZ deployment of Amazon RDS for PostgreSQL. Option C. Create a multi-AZ auto-scaling group for EC2 instances that host the RabbitMQ queue. Create another multi-AZ auto-scaling group for EC2 instances that host the application. Migrate the database to run on a multi-AZ deployment of Amazon RDS for PostgreSQL. Option D. Create a multi-AZ auto-scaling group for EC2 instances that host the RabbitMQ queue. Create another multi-AZ auto-scaling group for EC2 instances that host the application. Create a third multi-AZ auto-scaling group for EC2 instances that host the PostgreSQL database. The correct answer is B. Migrate the queue to a redundant pair, an RDS for PostgreSQL. Explanation: Amazon MQ and RDS with multi-AZ minimize operational burden and ensure high availability. Why not option A? EC2 PostgreSQL more management overhead. Why not option C? EC2-based RabbitMQ doesn't reduce operational overhead. Why not option D? All EC2 highest overhead not optimal. Question 143. A company wants to deploy an application that processes records. The application will receive records from an Amazon Kinesis data stream. The records must be processed in order and must be stored in an Amazon DynamoDB table. Which solution will meet these requirements? Option A. Configure an AWS Lambda function as a Kinesis data stream consumer. Configure the function to process and store the records in the DynamoDB table. Option B. Create an AWS Glue crawler to read the Kinesis data stream and to process and store the records in the DynamoDB table. Option C. Create an Amazon Kinesis data analytics application to read and process the records and store them in the DynamoDB table. Option D. Use Amazon Kinesis Data Firehose to read the Kinesis data stream and write the records to the DynamoDB table. The correct answer is A. Configure an AWS Lambda function as a Kinesis data stream consumer. Configure the function to process and store the records in the DynamoDB table. Explanation: Lambda allows for ordered processing per shard from Kinesis and integrates easily with DynamoDB. Why not option B? AWS Glue crawler designed for cataloging data, not stream processing. Why not option C? Kinesis data analytics for real-time analytics, not necessary for basic ordered storage. Why not option D? Kinesis Data Firehose doesn't support DynamoDB as a destination. Question 144. A company wants to monitor the CPU usage of its Amazon EC2 resources. The company wants to receive an email whenever the CPU utilization of an instance exceeds 80%. Which solution will meet these requirements? Option A. Create an Amazon CloudWatch dashboard. Enable detailed monitoring for the EC2 instance. Option B. Create an Amazon CloudWatch alarm. Set the threshold to 80% and the period to 5 minutes. Add an Amazon SNS topic as the notification target. Subscribe an email endpoint to the topic. Option C. Create an Amazon Event Bridge rule to capture the EC2 state. Configure the rule to send the metrics to Amazon SNS for email notification. Option D. Use AWS CloudTrail logs with AWS Lambda. Parse logs every 5 minutes and send an SNS message when CPU thresholds are breached. The correct answer is B. Create an Amazon CloudWatch alarm. Set the threshold to 80% and the period to 5 minutes. Add an Amazon SNS topic as the notification target. Subscribe an email endpoint to the topic. Explanation: CloudWatch alarms and SNS are the simplest, built-in way to alert based on EC2 metrics. Why not option A? Dashboard visualizes data but doesn't send notifications. Why not option C? Event Bridge rule doesn't monitor CPU metrics directly. Why not option D? CloudTrail plus Lambda overcomplicated for a metric alert. Question 145. A company is developing a new application. The application requires a simple key value store that can scale to handle millions of requests per second. The latency must remain consistent and low even as the volume of requests increases. Which solution will meet these requirements? Option A, Amazon S3. Option B, Amazon DynamoDB. Option C, Amazon RDS for MySQL. Option D, Amazon ElastiCache for Redis. The correct answer is B, Amazon DynamoDB. Explanation: DynamoDB provides high throughput, low latency key-value access at scale. Why not option A? S3 object storage, not optimized for key-value workloads. Why not option C? RDS for MySQL, not as scalable or low latency for high-frequency access. Why not option D? ElastiCache suitable for caching but lacks persistent key-value storage guarantees. Question 146. A company has a service that runs on Amazon EC2 instances. The service is in an Amazon EC2 auto-scaling group behind an application load balancer. The service must be highly available and must automatically recover if one availability zone becomes unavailable. Which solution will meet these requirements? Option A. Deploy the service to a single availability zone. Option B. Configure the auto-scaling group across multiple availability zones. Option C. Deploy the service to an EC2 dedicated host in a single availability zone. Option D. Configure the auto-scaling group with a scheduled scaling policy. The correct answer is B. Configure the auto-scaling group across multiple availability zones. Explanation: multi-AZ auto-scaling ensures high availability and failover support across zones. Why not option A? Single AZ not fault-tolerant to AZ failure. Why not option C? Dedicated host in one AZ no fault tolerance, higher cost. Why not option D? Scheduled scaling doesn't address availability zone failure. Question 147. A company plans to host a new web application on AWS. The web application will be accessed by users in multiple countries. The application requires low latency and static content delivery. Which solution will meet these requirements? Option A. Launch EC2 instances in each region. Replicate content manually. Option B. Use Amazon S3 to host static content. Enable cross-region replication. Option C. Use Amazon CloudFront to cache content at edge locations. Option D. Deploy an application load balancer in each region. The correct answer is C. Use Amazon CloudFront to cache content at edge locations. Explanation: CloudFront caches content close to users worldwide, ensuring low latency. Why not option A? EC2 replication high overhead and not scalable. Why not option B? S3 replication doesn't provide low latency delivery alone. Why not option D? Multiple ALBs doesn't solve latency or caching requirements. Question 148. A company has an Amazon S3 bucket that stores invoices. New invoices are uploaded continuously. The company must store all versions of the invoices indefinitely and must prevent any versions from being deleted. Which solution will meet these requirements? Option A. Enable versioning and S3 lifecycle policies. Option B. Enable object lock with compliance mode and enable versioning. Option C. Enable object lock with governance mode and enable S3 replication. Option D. Enable versioning and create a Lambda function to archive deleted objects. The correct answer is B. Enable object lock with compliance mode and enable versioning. Explanation. Compliance mode and versioning ensure immutability and prevent deletion. Why not option A? Lifecycle policies might expire older versions. Why not option C? Governance mode can be overridden by users with special permissions. Why not option D? Lambda archive adds complexity and doesn't enforce protection. Question 149. A company wants to review the security of its AWS account. The company wants to identify unused permissions, ensure IAM best practices, and receive actionable recommendations. Which solution will meet these requirements? Option A. Enable AWS CloudTrail logs and filter for unused IAM roles. Option B. Use AWS Trusted Advisor to analyze IAM usage. Option C. Use Amazon Macie to scan IAM policies for sensitive data. Option D. Use IAM Access Analyzer to scan S3 buckets. The correct answer is B. Use AWS Trusted Advisor to analyze IAM usage. Explanation. Trusted Advisor provides recommendations for security, including unused permissions and IAM best practices. Why not option A? CloudTrail logs raw data, not built for automated analysis. Why not option C? Macie detects sensitive data, not IAM usage. Why not option D? IAM Access Analyzer focuses on resource sharing, not permissions usage. Question 150. A company is migrating a legacy application to AWS. The application uses a fixed license model and runs on Windows. The company wants to use existing licenses and must ensure the licenses are compliant. Which solution will meet these requirements? Option A. Use EC2 spot instances with license included. Option B. Use EC2 dedicated hosts. Option C. Use EC2 reserved instances with Windows AMI. Option D. Use AWS License Manager with AWS organizations. The correct answer is B. Use EC2 dedicated hosts. Explanation. Dedicated hosts allow bring your own license buy-all for Windows workloads with compliance. Why not option A? Spot instances not license compliant for fixed models. Why not option C? Reserved instances with AMI includes AWS licenses, not buy-all. Why not option D? License Manager tracks usage but doesn't enforce host compliance alone. You've completed the full video series for the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate, SAA-C03. Follow the channel for more practice playlists and share this one with others preparing for the certification. The complete book is available at cloudcertificationstore.com.